Hello and welcome to another live session with PRPOI. I'm your host Tarunjeet Rattan and I'm delighted to welcome you to this session that we've been planning for quite some time for you. If you're joining us for the first time, then know that PRPOI is a platform that is dedicated to upskilling the entire PR community and the discovery of strong new voices that cut through the fluff with straight answers for all of us to learn and grow stronger together. If you are a regular at our sessions, then thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time because unless there are good questions, we won't know what and how to answer as we curate a session for you. And that is the funda for every tech AI that you can think of. Ask the right questions. And today we take up tech PR or AI in PR. AI and PR is a collaboration that most PR professionals dread to have and a little scared of dipping their toes into. Yet it's becoming increasingly important as teams become smaller, talent becomes scarce, and clients demand proof of impact. But there is a huge but. What will it cost? How will it show proof of work? How is it going to, add to the efficiency of an agency? Is this the solution to showcasing ROI in PR? All excellent questions. And we have here today with us a stellar panel who will answer these and more. Each one of them have been pioneers in their fields and have created technology that is user friendly at a price point that is suitable for the Indian market. So, without much ado, let's get started. Meet our first panelist, Aakriti Bhargava. Hi, Aakriti. Aakriti, you're on mute.
The usual. Okay, sorry. That's the usual in today's virtual world, right? Okay, hi, Tarun. Thank you so much for having me on this panel.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time out to be here today. Akriti comes with over 15 years of experience and is one of the driving forces behind PR tech exploration in India through her startup Wizikey. We also have with us Suja Jithin. She is the Chief Technology Officer with Scribe. Hi, Suja. Thank you for joining
Hi.
us.
Hi, Tarun. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Morning. With 18 plus years of IT experience on her CV, she has managed the technology stack for large scale data centric applications. And today we are lucky to have her with us in the PR industry as she builds the next SaaS platform for PR professionals. Thank you so much for joining us. We also have with us Saurav Dey. Hi, Saurav.
Hi.
Sourav is the president for Perception and Quant, or as you may better know them, Cirrus. With over 2 decades of experience in the analytics and communication industry, he combines both his passions to create something, to create winning partnerships, I would say, for both clients and agencies. Thank you so much for joining us. And a big thank you to my content curators, Pooja, Trehan, and Sonali Sokhal, for curating this session with me. So let's get started by getting to know a little bit more about each one of you. Akriti, first, you're up. You have been in the PR industry before you decided to become a PR tech entrepreneur. What brought upon this change for you?
Okay, so thanks so much again. And yes, I have, like you said, 15 plus years of experience. I have seen PR from all angles. I have been in a PR agency. I've been in Copcom. I was lucky that Copcom was opened my mind to seeing the impact of PR. Then I ran an agency for 10 years. So that was amazing time. I worked with so many entrepreneurs. And yes, I could see that software was eating the world, but it was not eating us. Why were we being left out of the plate completely? So that's where the idea of Wizikey really started. It was like, there was just too many gaps, and I felt like we are doing too much as an industry, that as an industry, all PR professionals, that we're getting so stressed out, we're falling out of it. And I love PR. I think it's an amazing way to create, credibility for a brand.
Right.
It drives your investors. It drives your, I mean, especially retail investors for any listed company. So that's where it started. And Wizikey is a passion. It is it the idea, the effort is to solve the pains in PR, make people more empowered, the PR professionals, and in that journey, help many companies gain far more value out of PR. Yeah.
Awesome. We're lucky you decided to jump in. Uh, Suja, coming to you, why this industry? Why this vertical?
Yeah, so pretty much as what Akriti said, PR. It's first thing. It is about passion, right? So if you see something in this field which you see that it needs tech, right? That's the key driver. So for us, Scribe, we were one of the early, yeah, what do you say, the initiators of AI in PR, because our founder, Sandeep Kalsi, he's been in the PR industry for quite a long time, and he's seen the transition, he's seen the data, he knows, he had the vision to actually go the tech way, and so that's how Scribe started, and it's continuously evolving, trying to deliver value to the customers. That's the main driver and the main passion for us.
Absolutely. I think I took my first bite of technology in PR with Scribe. So
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so we're quite early in the Indian market.
awesome. So
Yeah.
sort of coming to you, why this industry and what led to the creation of your platform?
Okay, in fact, I came to this industry purely by chance, and there's certain things which I like. I like reading. I like numbers. I like tech. So it felt familiar. I was not in love with this industry, but it felt familiar. And then before I know, so many things happened, and I have already invested 3 years, 3 4 years in this industry. And then came, so I was with one of the pioneers in media evaluation at that point, and then something happened, and I ended up joining the Cirrus to head Cirrus. And the first thing, when you come from an international company and you look down upon Indian companies, so the first thing I realized that they've created something fabulous, and which the story needs to be told. And with Cirrus, it has always been like, they were ahead of their time. This entire tech platform was created in the pre-dot-com era. And you remember the connections. I don't know most whether the listeners will remember, but we used to have 64 kbps speed. That used to be DSL, and that was a big deal. We used to download, so we were ahead of time. So, and with the biggest of our clients, big banks and all, they didn't have the technology backend to use those services. But having said that, this industry has given me a lot. And from day one, we have focused so much on technology because we realized something that because there's so much of manual efforts involved, it's prone to errors. So we were primarily trying to make it, faster, error-free. So we were into mostly analytics, and there was a beautiful platform which was, I inherited. I won't say that I created all of it, but then from there we have taken it to a different level, and we'll have lots of things to discuss on those lines. But that's
Absolutely.
briefly how I'm here.
Absolutely. And we're glad that all of you decided to stick around and, add technology to the entire industry. So let's get started with the discussion. PR agencies have always been asked, why don't you use a tech platform to automate things? This is a question that we've heard really too often in most client meetings. But in an industry where we have always taken pride in having the human touch in our storytelling, will tech really work? Before we start and get into the discussion, for the benefit of all the viewers today, can each of you help us understand, is there a difference when people or brand talk about tech in PR, PR tech, or AI in PR? Akriti, you want to take that first?
Sure. So, first of all, the whole claim that we don't use technology is absolutely irrelevant. If you use Gmail, you use technology, right? And if you use Gmail, you have AI in what you're using. Because the way, for example, have you ever noticed that your all your emails by themselves just figure out whether they should be primary, social, or there's another third tab? What is that? That is actually AI. It's trying to figure out what are you putting. Some cues you give to your dashboard, and it tells you where to put your email, right? So some of these things are so very in your face and obvious today because they've just come into your life so seamlessly, right? That's the role of technology, to come into your life seamlessly, somehow get into your everyday and make it simpler and easy for you to do things. If technology actually makes you work harder, then there's no use of technology. So, yes, there is AI in PR, which will automatically figure out how you do things in a more seamless fashion. For example, it should be able to tell you that these many emails, or it should be able to tell a journalist that these are journalists that are not, tell a journalist that these emails are not relevant to you, or tell a PR person that this journalist is not relevant to you. That is how AI should behave, right? And when we talk about PR in measure, tech in measurement, then it should be able to give you insights. It should tell you, look, your competition is doing this, are you doing it? Look, so those are those slight nuances. Obviously everything can be bucketed under the large arena of technology, but AI is far deeper and far more doing your work versus just like a boolean search that you're putting in. Okay,
Okay.
so
If I were
yeah.
to simplistically put this, would it be correct if I say that, technology in PR is collation of data and, giving you similarities, and AI would be throwing up insights from it?
Yeah,
That's
I
one
think
side, no? Yeah,
right.
Suja, why don't you?
Yeah.
So,
I think that's pretty much it sums it all. So there is one aspect of data collection and consolidation, bringing that structured view to make your life easier. The PR professional who's using it, aggregation of data you call it, and AI adds those insights. It gives you not some kind of human intelligence, some kind of intelligence which makes you take the right decision or move in the right towards the right path. So that is the key differentiator, according to me, between AI in PR and PR in tech.
right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Saurav, would you want to add to that?
Nothing actually, my primarily thing is it's basically tech. You call it AI, you call it machine learning, and there are multiple uses of every technology in our life. So it's primarily the discussion is how much tech are we going to use to make our lives simpler. And going forward, it's being democratized in a way where people who do not know coding, they will be able to do lots of their programming on their own, right? For example, your Microsoft license today gives you options of writing a bot which can go online and pick up the headlines and put it in a particular format that you want. So
Right.
it's only about figuring out things, only about being and not being scared of technology, and it's getting democratized. Someone who runs organization which is driven by tech and not being a techie myself, I understand the challenges that any PR person might facing. It feels like a lot of lot of jargons that I don't know, I don't understand, I don't want, not my comfort zone. But
Yeah.
the fact remains that once you, it's not so tough. It's not so tough.
So I would say PR professionals after this session, you can't claim that you do not know technology or you do not use AI because you're using that in everyday life. But given that a large part of our work is also intangible, how effective do you think tech platforms are in showcasing PR impact?
Okay.
Saurav, would you want to start with that first?
Okay, so technology, the way we use it today, is about processing the data much faster than we could do if we are not using technology. So when you process the data much faster, and with see, AI and all these concepts been there for decades. It's now been there in our lives because the cloud has democratized all of it. Earlier, if
Right.
you needed to buy 200 servers, it was huge capex. It was going beyond anybody else. But you can today you can hire 200 servers for an hour, and it can be done with it. So all the experiments and everything, so those are becoming much easier, and it will go like NLP, for example. You don't need so much of technical coding on that. So all those things are getting democratized. And when we get into evaluation, it's basically putting all those pieces together. Like, you have different data streams. Earlier, it used to be you get newspaper in the morning or few clips in television. But today, data news stream is every 5 minutes. Like, we update. So, and you don't know what's going to become viral.
True.
So for the challenge for the industry is to get into an area, and it's going beyond your control if you are not using technology. So for example, most of the companies, the biggest, and I've worked with the biggest names globally, $90 billion companies and all. So what they have is, and they have huge teams. One of the companies that I work with, they have 850-member team, but they work Monday to Friday, 10 to 5. But now it's an evolving. Earlier, you could control the journalists because you knew them. Today, any kid with a camera is a potential influencer. So how do you control other than being strategic? So you cannot, the old tricks, those are going to be there. But you have to be strategic. You have to have all the data points and you have to have it fast. And that's where the use of technology is coming. You don't have the time key, Sochu. So for example, if you want to, stop anything purely negative from becoming viral, you have to find it in the first 30 minutes and then address it within an hour and a half after your legal approval. So it's that fast. And things, if you cannot control beyond, you can't control it.
You
So
can't control it.
Yeah.
Actually, you wanted to add?
Yeah, Tarun, let's just step back a little. What are the intangibles? That's a very heavy term. What are the intangibles? That you're working 24/7 on calling journalists. You are sending emails in the middle of the night, right? What are the intangibles? And there's so many intangibles, right? Adding to what Sourav said, that if something breaks out, how you get to it in the first 30 minutes, that's an intangible, right? Because if you don't, then you get the brunt of not being there, right? We've all seen how, like today in the, one VC I'm aware of had this very aggressive wrong headline, right, which talked about exits. And the team, I'm sure all of you manage so many people, so many customers and clients. This must be an everyday affair. How do you get to it in the first 30 minutes? How do you prove that you've been working with 50 journalists on a regular basis, reaching out to 100 plus on a regular basis, or you are taking these calls and one coverage requires 50 follow-ups, right? Now, those are the intangibles that we, like our clients, do not ever see, that there is so much hard work going into that one piece of coverage and there was one spelling wrong in it, irrespective of everything. So I think those processes, those workflows, all of those need to come in everyday life. Think about Salesforce. What does it do? Right? A Salesforce or a Freshworks, it absolutely brings the workflow visibility for any salesperson. They say, okay, today the status of this customer or prospect is on a certain, like I have just made the first call, the second call, the third call, then it is like I've sent the pricing, then the first. So all of that needs to be built into a workflow. Right now the problem is why it is an intangible is because it is hidden in emails, it is hidden in calls, it is hidden in timesheets. I hate timesheets. Like, it's all hidden in timesheets. What can those 5 letters that you put in a timesheet that I made a call today really talk about how much you had to handle, right? That one journalist called and shouted at you, like, don't call me. So those are the areas for our PR professionals that are creating a lot of agony. And we need to address those when it comes to intangibles. The tangibles is also a lot of hard work today. And that is the painful part, that, in any country right now, we are still stuck as a basic on Excel sheets. You're downloading data and putting it on Excel sheets. Then you're creating pivots out of it. And God forbid, nobody in PR in the first year is trained on Excel sheets. So they start using calculators on the side. That's not right. So I think software has to solve for these intangibles, like you correctly pointed out. Put it into workflows. Say that a journalist has been contacted first time, second time, third time. It will give sense to companies everywhere that editorial means editorial. It takes
Right.
hard work. It takes
Right.
15 cumulative hours of three people. So that's the way I think this needs to be addressed.
Yeah,
I
I'd
think
just
we
like
all.
to add there,
Sorry.
Tarunjeet, that yeah, that intangible, the word intangible that you mentioned, that's exactly the reason why you should have tech and AI in PR. That's where the value comes. It's not possible doing it, in a manual fashion, like Akriti mentioned, Excel sheets, which is still there. So that's where that really tells you the importance of getting tech in PR. The intangibility is what is the key driver actually.
I guess, that's something that we've all been trying to address. All of us got into PR, got into storytelling because we didn't want to do maths and technology. Yet, this is something that doesn't seem to be leaving our pija, but it's okay. See, that's where, the fact that a lot of people are focused on the tangible aspect of it, like you mentioned, coverage, right? A lot of them work in PR involves in delivering media stories. When it comes to media stories, I would argue that PR is much more than that. But I know a large part of the industry is still judged by how much can you deliver in a particular month. And that is the segment that a lot of people are still trying to address. What our audience today would also like to know is the intangible aspects of it, like you mentioned, what we deliver in timesheets, which we really don't like to do. But how is that quantifiable? We have an interesting question from from one of our viewers, talking about how does this prove ROI in PR? Is there a standard calculation that you're using?
Okay, so if I can take that first, globally, we've looked at numbers and we've looked at companies that are putting money on measurement, right?
Right.
Or are putting money on tech, right? So today the ratio is 80-20. Okay, you put 80 on humans or on teams or on agency retainers, you put together everything, and 20%, 15 to 20% goes into tech. Now I'm
Right.
talking about companies like IBM, etc., in this mix, okay, which are far evolved and at the core are data centric. Okay,
Right.
and IBM tilts the coverage or the tech spend because their tech spends are far higher on every team. So obviously that that with that tilt or that outlier, still the average comes to around 15 to 18% at a minimum.
Right.
Okay, if that answers the question. The second point, if Suja you could take on, you'd probably be much better at it.
Can you just repeat the question, Tarun?
Is there a standard calculation that one uses for for measuring ROI in PR?
So for us at Scribe, right, we are still getting into the measurement bit. So we have just started venturing into it. We've primarily been more of, journalist, a good collection of journalists and giving insights on journalists and building onto that. So we are yet to get there. So I think, I don't have an answer for you right now on what is the, factor.
Right.
So I
I'll
think maybe Saurabh can answer that. Yeah.
I'll try to answer this in a way which everybody understands. Obviously, we have a methodology which is set, which is evolved, and which is much beyond add value equivalences or whatever we call it. Uh, so the first, I'll just I heard one story about one of in HDFC Bank. Someone gave a beautiful presentation. He was from one of the premium management institutions. And end of the presentation, Aditya Puri, who used to be the CEO at that point, he said, "Mera laddu kahan hai?" So it's about the laddu. So like Tarunjit, you said that we many of us came to this industry because we hate numbers. It's not our. So and for the C suit from where the budgets come, those are all number guys. So if you, and I have seen in my experience, people who have done really well and gone global, you know, done, been there, done that. Like, so many people are successful professionally, but people who really went up the ranks, they all talk to the CEO, C-suite in the lingo that they love and understand. And those guys are number guys. And the best part about this thing, and this is for everybody in PR, that please understand that you don't need to know much of maths. Just get the scare out of it. It's just basic average, and class 4 standard maths that is required. Only fact is that you have to use it in your lives. So, for example,
Understood.
yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, what we are looking at in terms of measurement is whether my message is being delivered to the target audience, and whether the target audience is, acting in a way that I or the company expect the target audience to. And then, so we have, as a PR professional advertisement, if we are doing advertisement, we have control of what comes out of us and what comes out of the media on the other side.
Right. Right.
In public relation, we don't have that control. We can give all the inputs, we can do all the hard work, but what comes out in that editorial is beyond us. So what
Yeah.
we can do, yeah, sorry, yeah,
There's
Tarun.
many a slip between the cup and the lip where that's concerned. But I think with the entry of social media, when you can quantify and actually showcase impressions, reach, engagement, the same is being asked of the entire PR industry, which, like you said, is difficult to prove. Nothing happens till it really happens, right? And on the other end, India is still a very print heavy market. All the love for digital PR seems to be evaporating pretty quickly across all markets with the request for print pouring in from clients this quarter. I'm sure every PR agency and every professional would have faced that. And most of the platforms that are coming in are, focusing again only on digital. This is where I see a huge disconnect happening between platforms who are wanting to help the entire PR industry and what is actually happening on ground. So, can you help us understand how effective these platforms are in calculating, let's say, impact across not just online but also print, television, social media, and podcasts? Saurav.
So print, we have used print in a big way, and print has been the mainstay for us in India, because it is where you get that. Even for example, I'll give you one small example. If you are a company which is looking at 70 markets, and you cannot get those data from your online coverage, not today, at least. You can tell the world that we have done so much of engagement. So many people tweeted, retweeted, shared my article for online, but for print, you can actually correlate it to the market that the newspaper appears. So
Okay.
when it comes to print, we still see a upsurge in the Indian market, and I've talked to all the professionals who are heading organization. They are still so much. Things are going to change. Even 3 years back, when I was in US, nobody. I'm not. I used to struggle to see any person in a subway having a newspaper in their hand, and I travel in different time zones. I did all of that. So those, but India is a very different market for that matter, and print continues to be there. And for print, there's certain things which are still there, like the readership profile of a particular publication, the circulation, who reads that publication. So few days back, we were just pitching to a client, and they said, okay, I know Times of India might be having 20 lakh readers in Delhi, but my product may be for socioeconomic class A, women between 25 to 35. So how does the my message for the 25 lakh make any sense if it's the Times of India? So we have those additional nuances. So we can break down the readership profile of a particular publication and then look at the visibility aspect of it. How visible is that article? So it's not just about getting an article out. Is anybody reading that article? And there's certain ways, like for online, you can readily derive it looking at the figures that you get from different social platforms, Facebook, Twitter. You know how many times it has been shared, commented, reached, and so on. But the
Okay.
next,
Can I
yeah,
beg to differ completely, Saurav? Very
yeah,
completely differ. Today, in
please.
such a digitized world, if you have great content, it will find the way to the reader because of all the ways you distribute. The distribution was earlier one to many. Today, the distribution has moved from one to many to many to many. Okay. So, which means that if one person finds the content somehow, they will ensure, and it's relevant content, then they will distribute it in enough number of ways that it will find the reader. So, the
True,
important
true.
aspect that has changed completely, first of all, a lot of companies I've spoken to, and in their coverage mix, okay, they have only 10 to 15% of print, which
Right.
means the 85 to 90% is digital.
Hmm.
They're worried about digital because print has a far shorter shelf life. It doesn't stay. Anyways, print of most of the coverage is there on digital. That
Right.
means whatever print you have is put aside, and you have 85% to 90% of data that you've generated for research. How well are you doing on that? Any research person will tell you 30% is great enough. Like, if you have 30% of your data collected, if you use that for analysis, then that will give you great results. In PR, we are lucky that we have 85% to 90% data available. Now, the only thing is that we have to fight our battles for ourselves, right? We have to ensure people believe that 85 to 90% is good enough for analysis. And if you have the right content correlation with your messaging, or you have the right content correlation with many other things that you're trying to do, like, for example, which kind of publications you're in, your PR measurement is right there in front of you. It's solved. And print as it is, you cannot collect all that data because we are still at a very nascent stage of having architecture for softwares that will bring in PR data of print data completely. So
Okay.
Yeah,
with 85,
Yeah,
90%, we
yeah.
are there. We are very much there,
Akriti,
Saurav.
exactly. You were right what you said, and I was, responding to what Tarun was asking because she was saying that the clients are still asking for print in India,
Print, exactly.
They
right?
Yeah.
shouldn't.
And
They
if
shouldn't.
Tissue,
They shouldn't. They
tissues.
shouldn't.
no,
Uh,
that's fine, but we don't luckily we don't get to change our clients. So it's the clients who decide, and
Correct.
all the people who are heading different agencies, different organizations, the top layer, they have been pro print for quite some time, and then
Exactly.
right now the new generation, they do not read newspapers, right? And that's what is going to come in the future. Just give me a minute to
Yeah,
finish
sure.
what I'm saying. So digital is the future, no denying that. Print is a huge part of the present, which we cannot. So digital, obviously, and digital, you have those beautiful, metrics which you can get at the tip of your fingertips, and you can do those measurement beautifully. But print, as India is today, still, and even forget India, IBM you talked about. I was there in the headquarters a few years back, and they said my CEO is happy if she gets an article in Wall Street Journal or an interview in CNN. The rest, so those things are there. So, anyways,
So, Saurabh, just to the IBM has that kind of money; they can deploy
yeah,
it. We are
yeah,
talking about a lot of companies who are starting out on their journey, and thankfully, we are the experts. We got that power with us that we can help them see what the future is, like you rightly said. Today, only, I mean, we said that 15% of the coverage mix is print. Besides, it doesn't give you enough decision making ability, right? Because most of the time, because of manual interventions, like I said, no print APIs are available. Even if they're available, they don't give enough reading. There is not enough image technologies that have been applied on print for us to be able to read all the content. So it just makes our decision making abilities weaker.
I'd like to add, to what Saurabh and Aakriti said. So I'm more, on the side of Saurabh in terms of the print coverage in India is still very strong. I agree we're moving towards digital, and it is eventually, it'll reduce even further. But in today's scenario, print needs to be given that attention because our customers demand that. We see that at Scribe, right? So yes, technology-wise, it is much more complex to get the value out of print. But yeah, that is an area which also needs some thought and some more work. And it is very different from what you see online, on Twitter or Instagram. It's very easy to gather all those stats. So
Right.
yes, but I think right now you need to have both of them, though
and
it may be a
and
lesser
also
percentage, but yeah, you need to have that focus is there as well.
I guess till the old guard dies down and the new guard takes over, whereas,
Yes.
there is a lot of worry in terms of the old guard rubbing off on the new guard as well. But till there are two separate segregations that happen, this debate is a never-ending one. But what I do want to understand from, all three of you, how much of, let's say, print, other medium other than online, print, television, podcast, does your platform incorporate, in the analysis that you share with your set of clients, PR agencies and corporate communication teams? Quick
So
answer.
should I? Yeah. Okay. So basically, right now there's a transformation in the client. So they don't want to go to one platform for online, or another platform for social media, another for print. So they want everything together. So and every agency that I know of, they're pulling their resources to bring things together in one platform. And we have seen that within the industry, people are sorry, I just missed your question. Then if you can just yeah, I
What
think
is the
I'm going off track.
percentage?
Yeah.
What is the percentage of non-online, impressions, non-online, like for example, print, apart from print, television, podcasts, do you also integrate data from, these particular mediums into your platforms?
Yes, print and television, yes, not podcast so much so, but print and television, yes, we do a lot.
Okay.
We do a lot.
Akriti?
Uh, Sorry, I was reading some of the other questions that had come in, and
There are a
I
lot of
thought,
questions coming in,
yeah, a
so
lot
we're
of
gonna,
questions coming in. Right.
yeah.
So I missed that part of the discussion.
Do you
Sorry, I was
integrate
so into the questions. Huh?
do you integrate other mediums apart from online and print into your platform?
Yes.
Podcast, television, etc.
Yes, the irony after all that I spoke is that we have print, we have digital, we have Twitter, and we have measurement on all of these. So, yes, we have on Wizikey, you can do this. Not only this, you can measure how your campaigns are performing. So, you can distribute to media and you can see how, the opens are coming in, the engagement is coming in. And that also enables that view into the black box, which is like, okay, what happens after you send something out to media and until the coverage appears. So that's
Right.
also a very, the blind spot in PR, which is like, the company or your customer calls you and says, "Ab coverage kab aayegi?" So you say, "Pehle opens dekhte hain." So those are the things that we've been able to integrate. And the next steps for us is also that we've cleaned the data a lot. So you don't need to, put it on a, so technology. So one of the questions I see here is that how good is technology? So, and can companies use the technology themselves, right? Like, can agency apply and use the technology? Technology is not good enough if it doesn't make it seamless for you, if it doesn't solve the problem for you, right? So
Absolutely.
if it is more hard work, then boss is good. हटा दो, ठीक है. So that's the point. So we've been so some of these should be able, the platforms should be seamless. You should be able to easily integrate in your work and use the dashboards themselves to give your measurement to your clients. Even the company should be able to do it themselves, because that's not, we're here for PR strategy. We're not here for doing the clerical work that comes along with it. Until I think it should have been there till 2015, but we are still there.
Seamless integration. Suja, I would want your inputs on this. Will PR agencies need to hire another talent in tech to be able to have these conversations with tech platforms?
No, absolutely not. I don't think that is the case. So that's why, platforms like ours are there to help them get the value that they want. There's a lot of data available on the internet, which is all scattered across. So what we do, solutions like us, we take all this data, put it in. We take the demands from the customer, what they exactly are looking for, and then we tailor make it for them using technology. So definitely they don't need to go and hire a tech expert, because from a user point of view, it's going to be like how a layman uses it, right? It's not
Absolutely.
something which is very tech heavy, where they need to go and get confused with what's going on. So it's going to be brought in a very in the fashion that the user wants to have it. So definitely there's no need of having a tech expert at the PR end. It's just that their requirement should come out very clearly. They should engage with whoever they're dealing with, and then get that solution built.
So
Yeah.
the right question is important. All of you have been pioneers in the field yourselves, right? Can you help us understand, what has been in the industry shift towards this particular adopting technology in PR, and what have been the resistance or acceptance levels? And have the acceptance levels been higher with brand teams or with agencies? Who have been the first adopters for you? Quick answers before we get
Can
into
I go
the
first?
questions.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll talk from my experience. So for us, it's definitely been agencies. Maybe because they are in the business since a very long time, and they've seen the data in and out. They're dealing with it in and out, much like how I mentioned about Sandeep, who's our founder, right? He's seen the transition. He had the vision. So similarly, I think the agency guys are the ones who use it day in and day out. So for us, it's definitely been agencies more. And I think even the bigger brands, they have agencies working for them. Uh, so it's more agency for me, is what I would say.
Okay. Saurav?
My take is, it's an individual. It's neither the agency nor the corporates. Is the individual who is more comfortable pushing print, or if they're more comfortable with the new. But I've seen one thing for the last couple of years, and since COVID. Um, Earlier, if 10 clients would ask for print, out of that maybe 4 of them would ask for online as well. But now it's almost 10 out of 10 they ask for both print and online.
Okay.
Yeah.
Akriti, first early adopters, agency or brands?
We have 1,000+ users. We have a free version, right? So we have 1,500+ users as of date. We've seen a mix of both. We see registrations on a weekly basis, and because there are lesser number of agencies out there and higher number of brands, so we see the tilt towards brands. Now I think
Hey,
the
you guys are
adoption is
all
coming.
data guys. You guys are all data guys. You have to give us data on this.
Okay, so I'll tell you 70%, 30%, despite the fact that agencies are far lesser, right?
Really?
So
70%
yes,
agencies,
30% agencies, 70%
30%.
brands. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
I would have expected it
and
to be the reverse.
no, why? Why? Because we have like an open platform, right? And there are so many companies out there, and for every so there are only in India there are 2,000 plus around. If we were to count total number of professionals, there would be around 30,000 odd professionals in industry. Look at the number of Copcoms, right? That would be far higher globally. So we are a global dashboard. So it definitely tilts towards brands for us. Our usage,
Okay.
our early paid users are also all brands. Now, there's a question that has been addressed to me, and I would like
I'm
to
going to come to
answer
that.
it.
I'm going to come to that. But before that, there is I'm getting a lot of requests to ask you this one question. How much does it cost for an agency to subscribe to your platform? What is the minimum package that each one of you offer? And where does that money come from? Are agencies willing to pay it? Or do they come out from brand budgets?
Should I go first or Suja, Saurav? Yeah, whatever you
You
say.
can go
Akriti,
first. You can go first. Yeah.
Okay.
Akriti first.
Okay. So we have workspaces on Wizikey, and we would not. I know that PR budgets are already very pinched, so we would love for your brands to be able to take it out of their budget and create their own workspace. Also make it, like I said, more seamless, because in a workspace, like in Slack, you can have as many users. So they will have access to the platform as well. So for me, it's definitely don't pinch your budgets more than this. Tell them this is important and get the budget out from your brand.
Okay. Suja?
Yeah, all I would say is it's very affordable. It's not. It's definitely not something very high that an agency or a brand needs to pay. So it's very affordable, and the value that you get, because, like I said, the ecosystem is so complex and there's so much of data around, and this is a very visible area, right? The brand influencing is it's all over the place. So I think it's really very affordable, and everybody should go for it in the PR, because it just makes the life easier.
Okay.
Okay, so
Sorry.
I'll take the question last. In terms of affordability, we I think we in a way spoil the market to an extent. So we are super affordable in so many ways. At the same time, it's the value that you delivering. So we have clients who pays us in thousands, and we have clients that pay us in lakhs, and both they know what they're paying for. So we are on both sides of the spectrum. At the same time, we are super affordable, and that's something for the industry. I have something to say for the industry as a whole, because if we are to grow as an industry, we have to raise the biddings, and that is where ROIs are going to become very important. So
Okay.
yeah, so, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so now let's take a few, very interesting questions from the audience. Akriti, you had already wanted to answer one, so I'm going to invite you to pick a question to answer.
So there's one which is directed to me. Aakriti, ask listed company CEO, which is his or her medium of choice. This is a very timely question, because yesterday on online only, we signed a contract with a listed company where the CEO we had recorded a demo and sent to the CEO, and the contract is 2 years.
Wow.
Imagine
Wow.
that. Right. So,
Yeah.
so I know that the world is not so beautiful, right? But we're getting there, right? I mean, there are green shoots everywhere. Today we are having this conversation is a green shoot, right? Because so many people are attending, such beautiful questions coming in, such a wonderful debate happening between Saurav, me, and Suja. So it's amazing that we are moving to a more beautiful world. I think the important point is that whether a CEO or whether a communications professional or a PR agency executive, all of us will benefit from looking at an entire universe of organic conversations, whether in print, whether in Twitter, whether in online. And when we're able to get insights that give us decision making abilities, we will all thrive in this environment. And we, from our side, that is the effort, have an integrated platform of sorts.
Absolutely. There's a very interesting question that one of the audiences has picked up. Aren't PR agencies turning out to be new age advertising agencies with so many budget approvals going to client from agencies that their roles itself are changing? Yeah. So what would your view be on this? So if the entire PR industry shrinks because a large part of it is dependent on editorial media, what and how would you, look at handling this entire change in the industry? Saurabh, you want to go first?
See, I don't see that the PR industry is shrinking, but it will, change the way we do business, all of us, and the PR industries will evolve with time. So I don't see, like, all the biggies, they're getting stronger, and there's so many smaller companies which are coming up every day, and they're doing fabulous work. So end of the day, it's about giving value to your clients and asking for your fair share of money. So, but that fair share of money will only come if someone is not spoiling the market. And for that, the agencies need to use a lot more of tech, so that they take it away from anybody who can quit a job tomorrow and take three agents, say for example, from my company. Anybody leaves today and they cannot start another venture and be successful, because for them to be viable, they have to spend crores in infrastructure to at least give that kind of service. And the agencies also need to do that. They need to invest in their own IT infrastructure. And when I say IT infrastructure, it means the ecosystem, so that anybody who comes in, for them to replicate that kind of ecosystem becomes tougher. And that's where you are going to demand more, because anybody can get a 2 lakh client, 1.5 lakh client. In international terms, if you spend $100 on a client, 33% is your salary, 33% is overhead, and 33% is profit. That's how the international world, agency world works. So if someone is giving 2 lakhs as a retainership, so they're getting 70,000 worth of manpower if the agency has to make profit. So, and the
See,
corporates
there's a very
understand that.
pointed
Corporates
question.
understand. Yeah.
Sorry, there's a very pointed question on this from one of our viewers. What is a budget one needs to allocate on an account to incorporate your tech? It's addressed to everybody, to each one of the panelists. Give us a range.
So right
Give us
now,
a
we
range.
can start. Right now, we can just start with 10% of your PR budget. So you can start, and then if you see value and your top management sees value, you can go up the ladder. Just 10%
Yeah.
of what you are spending on PR. Just do it on
Correct. Correct.
PR
What I
division.
would like to add there is, it depends on how much you want to do. So you can start slow. You can go with a few services, see how it works out for you, and then invest more. But in any case, whether you go higher or lower, the solutions are so affordable today that you don't need to spend a huge amount of money, just to get tech. Because if it is not affordable, what's the use of technology? So that's what it is. It's you can start with a few value-added services. You see how it goes, and then you can go for a bigger solution. But like I said, in any case, they are affordable. They're not too high. They're not priced too high.
Yeah, if I
Okay.
can just
Yeah.
add there, Tarun,
Hmm.
uh, very simply put, it depends on the stage of the company. If you're at early stage, there are a lot of free tools out there. If a team gets used to using tools, they definitely will assign more important tools in future, right? So you can start at zero. That's the point, right? When you start at zero, you become used to, you like data, you become involved with data, and that's where the beginning can be. But if you're a mid-sized company, you should put 10 to 12%, as Saurabh is saying. But if you're a large company, then a lot of automation needs to happen. And because you should not rely on putting more people, because the problem is, you start at zero, you start making dossiers when you're 0 to 3 years, and in fourth year you're expected to directly start talking to CEOs. So I don't think that any team, whether on the Copcom side or on the PR agency side, should spend any time on doing things that can be automated.
All the grunt work needs to be taken out. There's an interesting question from our members. Our main concern today is reaching different demographics for different clients. How can AI help us make this better? And can it help us analyze a media matrix based on demographics? Suja, you want to
Absolutely.
take that?
Yeah.
Definitely,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, it can be done. So in today's world, there is a lot of information all over, print, digital, all the social media, everywhere. So that's what we have been focusing on as well now in the next phase of Scribe, where our primary goal is to have access to the data wherever possible, and then aggregate it, get insights out of it, and help our customers. So we talk to them, understand what they are looking for, and then we tailor make solutions as per what the demand is. So definitely, this is something that in today's age and time, it is definitely possible, and it should be done. That's where the world is moving to.
Right. Saurav, you had to add?
So basically, in terms of reaching demographics and the data points are, you can't imagine how much of data is available today. So the only thing is, making it slice and dice it to make it useful for the client.
Right.
Right now, so if you have a story and it becomes viral, you can pin down to the particular points, nodes where it can become viral from. So it's huge, and you get all the demographics, like so, and right from the demographics that now the social platform share, obviously, like whether you are a graduate or you're a family of three, all so, and you can go to men, women, age, sex, all those things are anyways there. And you can, so, and once you do all these data points and combine, and the permutation and combinations are enormous. So if you punch in, social media metrics, you punch in stock movement, you punch it sales data, you punch in your news that's coming out, and the correlations with machine learning and all that can come out just with without training them to start with. It's enormous. It's enormous, and we have been doing for some clients. But I must also say that like some of the experts say that it's still evolving. You still need a human layer, but the idea is to use as much of technology. And like Akriti said, we shouldn't be doing things which that technology can do. That makes
But I'll
economic
add
sense.
one point there.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were continuing. Sorry, I thought you had finished.
No, no, no. Please, please, please.
Yeah. So, but there's one elephant in the room, which is that publications don't tell us viewers, how much was one article viewed. Okay. And that's a problem because from all the conversations I've had globally, that's one data that we, like, for example, a global VC that uses Wizikey wanted specific viewership data. I know that data is available. I also know vendors that where that data is available, but I can't get it in because there are confidentiality agreements that they have signed. I'm not saying reveal what one article is, like how was it viewed, but give that data. Let it be aggregated. Okay, if I have gotten 100 mentions, if I'm able to aggregate all the demographic data there, okay, then I will be able to see, okay, what is the collective that I have been able to get in. Okay, the second problem is that we also need to work very hard on editorial media to understand that today world is so digital, you have to insert links. You don't, it's okay if you don't want to do like direct, because I know that you're editorial and that you don't want to give away the money that you should be able to get from generating traffic for a company. But look, think from a viewer point of view, right? You're reading an article and you're saying, okay, now I'm going to switch off this article, and then I'm going to go on Google and search for the company and then land on the website
Right.
of the company. That's just wastage of time and hours, right? And wastage of clicks.
You've
So
actually articulated everything that a PR agency or a PR professional, whether in agencies or in Copcom, wants, right? This is data that we'd like, love to get our hands on, and it makes a
please,
great case for digital PR as well.
and I'm
Unfortunately,
I'm
this
putting
data
this up on the
available.
platform that
Uh,
you folks as
Tarun,
PRPOI, why don't you lobby for us? Let's collectively
Tarun,
lobby for this.
so while Akriti is right that the publications don't share, but if that article is shared on certain social platforms, we have ways and means to get that data, like how many times it has been shared, how many times it has been, viewed, commented. So even that kind of data, if we start using it, gives us lots of insights to start with.
It does.
Yeah,
It does,
lots of
right?
insights.
So
Yes.
we have the makings of a new startup here, a consortium of sorts. If any of the PR professionals watching this session want to take up lobbying for this particular segment, please feel free to get in touch with all our panelists for it. Right? So we're running out of time. While we have a lot of questions, I would request everybody to log in after the session to answer a few of them. A quick rapid fire for each one of you. So I'm going to ask one question, and I want each one of you to give me a short answer for it, right? One positive change that you have seen in the PR industry in the last 12 months. Akriti?
Okay. Uh, Ability to training.
Okay. Suja, one
I
positive
would
change.
say, yeah, I mean, it's more use of tech. So there are people who want to use technology. So, there are customers who are sticking with us since when they've started. So they really want to use, which is really a good change.
Absolutely. Saurav?
So, we see the use of technology and digital becoming more and more relevant every day, and the new age, new generation, lots of new people in this industry. So, these are the positive things.
Fantastic. We love that new people are entering the industry. One trend that you will think will gain traction in the coming 12 months. Akriti?
Use of data.
We'd love to see that. Suja?
Yeah, it's more on ROIs, measurement. That's where the real value comes out even more. So that's where I see it heading.
Absolutely.
Since COVID happened, people working from home and ROI and proving that what you have done has become a big, and it's happening across the board. So, and everybody, right from agencies, everybody is trying to see what's the value that they're getting. So I am, in agreement with Suja. It's going to be ROI and you know evaluation. That's going to be huge in the coming 12 months. And
Fantastic. I love
we have
it
we have
that
never seen business booming more than what it's happening today. Yeah, so
absolutely. And I love the fact that not just individual agencies, but associations and groups have also gotten a lot more active in terms of talking about measurement and ROI and PR. Maybe all the collective conversation will result in some solution in the coming 12 months. Last question, your best advice to every PR professional out there. Saurav.
don't be scared of numbers. You just need the basics. Talk to your CEOs in the lingo they understand, because you have the easiest access to the C-suite. So please
Absolutely.
use that, get more money for what you're doing, and let the industry flourish. So, that's all I'm going to say.
That's wonderful advice. Suja?
Yeah, the same thing, that invest more in these smart solutions, which will give you the value rather than spending a lot of your time in just doing some work, which is kind of repetitive. So invest more in technology, get what you want, put your demands across to whoever you deal with, in helping you with your PR, and get more value. Yeah, that's what it is all about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Akriti?
Don't leave, stay put. That's it. Yeah. Don't leave, stay put in the industry. Yeah, because over
Yeah.
time you enjoy your work so much. So don't get out because of stress. And
Yeah. I
stress,
think it's
don't take stress. Don't take stress.
Yes.
I think the industry is becoming even more exciting. I've been in the industry for 2 decades now, and no year is the same, no month is the same. It just keeps evolving and different challenges. If you're up for a challenge, I think this is an industry you should stay in.
Very
Yes,
true.
absolutely, Tarun.
Absolutely,
Totally agree.
absolutely. And it's
So
going to
cool.
be the industry of the future. So it's up to us, and it's more democratized than ever before with
Absolutely.
technology.
I love the way it's evolving. So thank you so much for joining us today. I'm sure our audiences today enjoyed and learned so much more about technology and AI and PR from all of you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thanks for having us,
Thank
Tarun.
you. Thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for having us, Tarun. And thank you so much for organizing this. I had so
Yes,
much fun in the conversation, and you
yes.
were fabulous. And
Thank
to the
you.
You're becoming
Thank
pro.
you.
Yeah. Thank
So
you.
I'm sure this is this is a conversation that we'll have again and again, and we'll keep continuing the conversation on different platforms. So be with us. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Bye.
Awesome. Thank you. So that was Akriti, Suja, and Saurav talking to us about tech and PR and the amazing changes we are seeing in the industry today that you must know about. I do hope you enjoyed this session as much as we did. If you have more questions, put them in the comment section, tagging the panelists, and they will answer them for you. Let's continue to keep the conversation alive as our panelists, spoke about it. The more we converse about it, the more we talk about it, the more people will get to know about it, and collectively we will all benefit from it. By the way, all our episodes are now simulcast on YouTube, so you can watch it there too. Let's talk, engage, and learn together. Thank you for joining us today. Before we wind up, I will take a moment to thank my co-founders Sonali and Pooja for driving this forward with me. Do join us on our next session on Twitter. Tweet you there.